Hi and hello watch fans, and welcome back to another episode of The Real Time Show with me, your friendly neighbourhood watchmaker, Rob Nudds. I'm joined as usual by my faithful co-host, the friendly neighbourhood jeweller, Alon Ben Joseph, and the head honcho of Alpina, Oliver Van Lanschot Hubrecht, once again to talk about a very exciting new release that we have concocted together. Oliver, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rob and Alon. A great pleasure to be back on the show for an exciting episode, right?
It is exciting. It's been a long time coming. This project that we're going to be discussing today, amongst other things, has been in the works for a couple of years, really, when we first started talking about it, when the Real Time Show started to gain a bit more traction. Obviously, Alon is very close to Niels, the CEO of Frederick Constant, and through him knows you exceptionally well for many, many years. And now we are all working together on this lovely little thing. Alon, give us your feedback on the relationship with Alpina for you.
Don't tell Niels this, but within the FC group, Alpina is kind of my favorite. So
controversial.
I love FC. You guys know that. I had the honor to do 2 collabs already with Niels for FC. Alpina always had a special spot in my heart because they have a long legacy. What a lot of people don't know, and Oliver will maybe school us on this topic, that they were the first cooperative, a union, the Alpina Union. So that is, I think, very important and special in the Swiss watchmaking industry. The collections are epic, and I'm very happy at the helm of Oliver. They're reviving heritage pieces. We've seen a few at Watches and Wonders this year, Watches and Wonders before. People know that they have the beautiful dive watches with 2 crowns because I'm wearing one which is a compressor. So this vibe is also part of Alpina's heritage and history. Now, that being said, why was I adamant to work with Alpina? That's why we're here, the 3 of us. I had to drive both Oliver and Niels crazy to work with us, to convince us. I was actually there when, unfortunately, their dear friend who passed away recently came up with the designs for a new era for Alpina, which was set with the Alpiner, the current case of the Alpiner, which is very contemporary, even cutting edge. And Niels showed me that prototype when I was visiting their manufacturing plant La Watt in Geneva. I believe 3-4 years old that design is today now, Oliver. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
correct, yeah, 2022. Huh? So,
yeah, 3 years. So I've seen it before that, and I fell off my chair, and I loved what they did. And then they didn't stop at that. They used that as a platform and came out with the Diver Extreme. And then I said, this is bullseye. And then, Rob, you take it from me, because when you saw that watch, something clicked in your mind and I saw twinkles in your eyes.
Yeah, for me, it was a perfect evolution of the collection. But before we talk about that extensively, let's talk about the history of that collection, because Oliver is in a very special place in the museum surrounded by Alpina's history and heritage. So, Oliver, why don't you take us right back to the beginning of Alpina so that we have some context for the model that we have created together?
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Indeed, I'm here in the manufacture experience or museum of Alpina watches in Plan Les Ouates in Geneva. Alpina as a brand has a very interesting history. You both spoke about it. Alon mentioned that it's actually born out of the collaboration. So to speak briefly about that, back in 1883, somebody called Gottlieb Hauser brought together actors of the watch industry at the time, so different actors, and brought them together as a group. So you had designers, you had manufacturers, you had even retailers that were in the group at the time. So it's really the first collaboration or collaborative platform in the Swiss watchmaking industry. So that's also very interesting, with regards to our collaboration today. After that, I mean, following the creation of the Watchmaking Union, the objective when they started creating and producing watches was always the resistance of the watch, to build a strong, sturdy watch to resist the harshness given by the Alps. And then later in the evolution, they indeed created a diver's watch already under the Seastrong name back in the 1960s. The Seastrong 10, Alpina 10, which had 10 features in it. It was a super compressor watch also with an internal revolving bezel. So the divers features and watches are also part of the history. So under these two directions, it's a good basis for our discussion today. The Watchmakers Union collaboration, and then the divers watch history with the beauty that we're bringing out together.
Yeah, I'm absolutely over the moon to have worked on this project with you, because like Alon, I've always loved Alpina. I always enjoyed writing about Alpina when I was at Fratello, because I loved the fusion of that heritage and that very modern take on what you're able to do with modern manufacturing techniques and the materials and decorative techniques that you brought into those watches. But when I saw the new Seastrong, this 39.5 millimeter case, which has a very compact 40.5 lug to lug, which is an incredible wear and experience, to be honest. Very, very stout on the wrist. I really want to get my hands on it because I had this vision of something that could be extremely TRTS, which we have like a style now, it would seem, because this is actually the fourth collab that we've done. And there's a consistent thread through all of them. And I don't know what you thought, Oliver, because this is what I'd like to talk to our listeners about, is really the process of collaboration, because everybody's got different motivations and they have to have their own agendas. Obviously, when they're working on a project, it has to satisfy all partners, and that can sometimes not actually be possible. You know, we were able to get to that point where we were able to collaborate. I'd like to talk about that process rather than maybe the watch itself, because by now people will have seen it. Obviously, it's let's call it a charcoal or very, very, very dark gray degradé dial with this beautiful particulated effect which comes to life in the sun, and then it's got the bright orange second hand, which is a bit of a TRTS signature, to be fair. This new dial layout, a bit more expansive, gets rid of the Rehort ring, but it keeps the beautiful ceramic bezel insert, which is one of the most like high quality aspects of this model, and I think in this configuration really sings. But let's talk about that process. So when we first spoke to you about our desire to collaborate, what did you think? Were you keen or were you reticent?
Definitely keen, for sure. I mean, I think right away, and I think that's a super important element. It's obviously, we're humans, behind it, you know, and we listen to each other and we share and we get excited and we try and we review. And, for me, that, aspect, spoke to me right away. So I think it's about, us at the beginning and looking at something that we both have, what's unique about both of us, and brought it together onto this project. So honestly, it came with excitement, and to always put, of course, take a new approach on design, you know, from this exciting watch that we had launched with the Extreme Case Design, and then after the Seastrong. And I think that was really you can always feel it right away, you know, when you get that excitement, that approach. Obviously, I had seen what you had done before, and I think that both your expertise, you, Rob, and then Alon, brought together, and you know, it was at the very beginning of the real time show as well when we started discussing. And we've all come a long way since then. So it's just excitement, you know.
And then what was your first thought when you did see that design land on your desk? Because I presented a couple of options to you. One was a little more out there maybe than the one we decided to go with. But again, you obviously could see it come to life as a product. But we had to go through a few phases, right, of like, you know, discussing like loom colors and whatnot. And there was research and development done on your side, you know, at your expense of your time and resources with your team to make sure that you got it just right. Were you convinced that it was going to work when you saw it, or did you think, okay, there's potential here, but we need to get it exactly right?
Well, when I saw the initial design, I was convinced, but obviously then you always have to look at the brand, look at the DNA, look at certain codes that you want to find back on the design of the watch under the Alpina brand. So that's the subtlety of it, is that you're looking for something that's very different, but you can still recognize to some extent the DNA of the brand. So the base of the design, I thought, was really looking awesome, I must say. But then going back and forth and trying to magnify it, and I remember you mentioned the loom as well. We went through different testing of that, what would look best, what was the strongest. We ended up with this polar white, which looks amazing. A few adjustments also on how important also the presence of the logo has to be on the dial, if you remember that. We really decided to go on this ton sur ton, so make it there, so it's there, but really in a discreet way to give space, to the beauty of the sandwich dial and the index layout and so on this matte grained anthracite black dial. So I think it's really going back and forth, and you coming with a bold idea, and then me coming back a little bit and bringing it into the Alpina DNA, and then finding an approach that makes it exciting enough, but that also respects the code. Anyway, super happy with the result.
Well, I really think that one of the boldest things that you did was to keep that ton sur ton logo and the automatic text, and also to, the black type counterpoise on the second hand. It's a really, I think, edgy approach to the existing Seastrong DNA to kind of pare it back entirely. So from some angles, it's just totally focused on the markers, the hour, the minute hand loom, obviously, which stands out against the blacker background and their black frames, and also then that blazing bright orange second hand. So thanks for having the faith in us to do that. And I think that it's created like something that really does stand out. Alon?
You took the words out of my mouth. So both you and I, Rob, love ton sur ton. We pitch the brand. Often we have the luxury to have carte blanche. So did you said, hey guys, I'm open to think about it, pitch whatever you want. And when Rob and I were internally discussing, should we do it? They'll never go for it. But you know what? Always start high and then you'll see where you land. And we were actually amazed that you ran with that, because a lot of brands wouldn't have dared to do so. Maybe you could tell us, Oliver, why you did, and B, what is the process internally? I mean, you are two big brands and you have a big mother company, but I believe you guys have rather big autonomy. Maybe walk us and the listeners and viewers through how that process of decision making goes within your company.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's an interesting question as well. I think the first important thing to mention here is that we have two completely different DNAs. And with Alpina, we have the chance, of also being able to take some bolder moves. We have the different universes that are part of our DNA. We have these sturdy, strong watches, but we have a history of innovation, of trying things, of pushing the limits, and we can play with that. And the beauty of it is that we still have this autonomy to come with some bolder approaches and to propose them. After that, obviously, there is still the process of validation to some extent to make sure that we're still within respecting some of the brand codes, and that we have this creativity that's integrated in what the DNA that we have. So bringing that together, I think that it's a good example of it, right? Also, Niels, of course, with our sister brand, Frédéric Constant, also finds some very interesting approaches to bring creativity also in a more classic and elegant brand and different positioning. But I think with Alpina, you actually have a world of options, that you can use, and the freedom also to experiment.
So talk to us about how we're actually going to distribute this watch, because people will have seen it. By now, I'm hoping that everybody has skipped off to the landing page to have a good look at the watch and had a good look at the images as well, and maybe even received an email from either us, you, or both directly, what's the availability like? You know, it's on sale from November 27th, and it's not limited to a particular number, is it? But tell us what the process is like and where people can hope to find one.
Yeah, so indeed, sales start as of the 27th of November. So this is going to be an online exclusive for the first weeks of the sales. So really into January will be online exclusive. We have a first batch of production which is coming into availability as of the 27th of November. So to make sure that we can deliver the first client and the real-time show community, and in first hand, that's for sure. We've got a second batch coming into January. And following the let's say 2 months of online exclusivity, where we're going to be, communicating and bringing also some special insights on the watch, we then open it also to our retail, as traditional retail remains also very important for Alpina in terms of availability, distribution, and partnerships. So they also get access after 2 months to a certain number of pieces that will be available at your local retailer. So that's the process. But what's important to say is that we have a limited number as of the 27th of November. We're looking at about 50 pieces, and then second batch will be coming into January.
And for our dear listeners and viewers, as you know, every collab we make, Rob and I have one. Ours is on the way while we're recording this one, but we'll have a physical one like we do with every collab we do. We have our channel for the experience of the watches, our collab watches. So join our WhatsApp community. We'll rotate the watches that go from wrist to wrist of our community members. But in my personal offices in Amsterdam and London, we'll have in that window of 2 months, each one in Amsterdam and London, one to try on. They're not for sale. Those are our personal pieces, but you can try them on if you are on the fence and want to experience them before ordering it on the dedicated landing page for the Alpina X TRTS collab.
Yeah, I'm quite unsurprised that you didn't dare attempt the full name of this watch, because it has got quite a long name. I'm just about have learned it myself now. It's the Alpina X, the real-time show, Seastrong Diver Extreme Automatic. And you have to call it exactly that whenever you refer to it in future, okay? Because, branding is everything, yeah?
So let's have our community give it a nickname. And obviously within Plan Le Haut at your offices, Oliver, it's called now the TRTS Diver. But then we have a problem. What if we do chapter 2 ever in the future? Then we really run into a problem because we need to come up with a new name.
I think that we probably should focus on the dial color, right? So we're going to call it the Shadow to begin with, because it's a dark and stealthy model. And if we ever did a second edition update of this dial format or this layout, then I'm sure obviously that's what we change first. So yeah, we'll stick with that.
Cool fact though. You surprised us during Geneva Watch Days, Oliver, where we were the official media partner for the trade show. And fun fact, your video interview of the video of the interview you did was one of the top 3 interviews. And the LinkedIn post where there is a picture of the 3 of us was the number 1 post we did. But I know why, because look how handsome you are. So, and obviously Dutch handsomeness, because Rob again did not manage to pronounce your name, Van Lanschot. Yeah, Hubrecht. Yeah.
So it's probably a mix between how good we look together and then a little bit of irony.
No, it's the Dutch genes that really amped up. But on a serious note, you surprised us with the prototype. I almost fell off my chair because I was blown away, because you obviously sent us pictures when it rolled out the factory. We had the honor to wear it a bit, and those that are really, really in the know recognize the case shape and bezel. And then when they came closer to our wrists, they're like, because they couldn't see the logo Tolsuton, they were like in doubt. They're like, wow, this is one of the coolest Alpina we've seen. Those that aren't that familiar with Alpina were blown away. And then what I usually do, I ask them, what do you think it is? A, and B, how much do you think this costs? And from those samples that I took is the majority didn't know what it was. And almost everyone thought it was above 10K euros. So it shows the pedigree of the brand and the product you make. Now, maybe if I may, and Rob, maybe I'm deviating because we're just jamming here together, is a question I got. How can Alpina produce this quality at this price point? Because I want to do a little intermezzo. You launched a new Carré model again. That was, I think, a Europe exclusive or something last week or a few weeks ago I saw. And for the original revive of the model, I believe 2 years ago, you made a manufacture caliber. And that's something not many people know. Obviously, our model has an off-the-shelf, high-quality caliber. But we were even blown away by, and I say this in brackets, how low the price is for this watch. Well, how can you guys accomplish this?
So, it's a very good question. Obviously, hard work and, wanting to position the brand as the highest value brand within the premium priced Swiss made sports watch segment. So for me, that's really between 1,000 and 3,000. So we're around 2,195 to be precise, actually, on our particular model. So that means that we're spot on because we want this perceived value to be high and then much higher than expected. And that's the proof when you were at Geneva Watch Days and walking around with the watch on your wrist, and asking the question. I also do that exercise myself. And it's true that it often gets positioned, 3,000 and above for sure, and goes even much higher than that. So that's definitely the objective. So obviously the materials that were chosen, the finishing of the extreme case works very well. So this different layer case design with 4 layers, all manufactured independently with different types of finishing, and gives it this high perceived value and this beautiful reflections within the light. But then, for sure. I mean, we margin wise, it's also an investment that is made on our side to be able to position ourselves within the segment.
I think that's what I love most about the design, how it's been so cleverly constructed so that you can get the very best out of the price point you're working in. You know how to apply those finishes at the level you're able to, and then put them all together so the transitions are absolutely crisp and perfect. When you say the margin isn't, well, it's obviously not very large. Is that a decision, a group-wide decision to make sure that Alpina is able to play that role and bring people into that universe so that other brands are able to experiment in the higher end of horology?
Sure. Well, of course, there's a different segmentation also of price points and according to the different movement categories and different calibers and so on. And for us at the moment in Alpina, we don't have manufacture movement, so this might change. We might have a few surprises coming also in the next months, but we're really focusing on this premium segment. So of course we've got some price points and margin targets that have to be respected, all in all. But given our positioning and given the segments that we're in, this is an investment that is made also for sure.
Now, if I may, I want to tackle, I think, the question we're going to receive the most from the day we launch this model is, this watch looks like a strap monster, is it? So before we answer yes or no, I guess the biggest debate Rob and I internally had, and then the two of us with Oliver and his team, what do we do with straps? Do we do the awesome metal strap? Because the metal bracelet on the Alpina and the Seastrong, which share the same DNA, is fantastic. And I wasn't a big fan of rubber until recently. And actually, I blame you, Rob, with your Argonaut watches. Damn you. And especially the integrated rubber straps. So in the end, I have to admit, Rob convinced me to go for rubber. But boys and girls, don't worry. Alpina has an awesome orange strap. You have this strap in black, blue, and you can obviously order the metal bracelet. Did I forget a color, Oliver?
No, orange, black, and stainless steel bracelet, yeah. And blue, navy, we said?
And blue, yeah, navy blue. Yeah. And do you guys offer them online on your website, or should people go to their local Alpina dealers for those straps?
So both options are possible. So these straps are available within the collection. So they're available on the website, first of all. But then, of course, you can also check them out at your local retailer. I must say that it does look indeed awesome. The watches and the finishing of the bracelet is also quite exceptional. When you were speaking about value also and the way it looks, for the price point on bracelet is also quite amazing. Now being a diver, I think the original design from Rob also, was on the rubber. It looks awesome that way. But that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, the options are there.
It is incredible how well it wears on the bracelet and how well balanced it is on the wrist, because the watch is 12 millimeters thick, which is, with the rubber, the way that it's formed, because it's very ergonomically shaped so that there's an immediate drop off after the edge of the lugs around the wrist. It sits very, very tightly. But then when you switch it out for the bracelet, obviously you'd expect a little bit more movement because a bracelet slides around a bit more than the rubber does. But the weight on either side is so brilliantly distributed. It just sits exactly where you want it to. And it adds this sort of level of elegance to it. Oh, you're actually wearing one. I'm jealous. There you go. Look at that. It does stand out, doesn't it?
Proudly wearing one, yeah.
Took him 27 minutes to show us. Keeping us in suspense.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to see it start to hit the wrists of some of the members of the community. And we're looking forward to obviously getting their feedback and relaying that to you as well. And then continuing to push and market the watch like in the future, hopefully do some events together next year, bring it to a wider audience, and who knows, could be the first step in a long and fruitful collaboration.
Absolutely, yeah. So indeed, super excited about it. Maybe just a couple of points still. We're speaking about the design of the Extreme case, and I think it's important to mention that it's also a creation of Manuel da Silva Matos, who sadly left us last week. So it's an honor and an homage also to have this piece and this creation coming out there. And speaking about collaborations, again, there are two things that came up to mind from me. It's the Alpinist principles, which sort of summarized what I mentioned earlier on. So one is really in line with our roots. So stay true to your roots. So that's really true to the Alpina legacy, the Alpina heritage of collaboration and so on. And then the second one is also trust your instincts, right? So when you trust your instincts, and I think we've got a good example here as well with what we're talking about, with perseverance also as a third one. So yeah, I think the Alpinist principles and philosophy as well coming back into this collaboration together.
Well, what a beautiful way to wrap things up. Oliver, thank you again for your time. Thank you for your trust in the Real Time Show and the support that you've shown us all the way through. Like, we're over 3 years old now, and you've been there with us every step of the way. So thank you for that. Thanks to the listeners. Thanks to the viewers. Hopefully you will enjoy this new watch that we've released together. Please do give us your feedback. You can get in touch via the usual channels. You can even contact us on Instagram. You can see my handle on the screen down there. You can see Alon's next to his name as well. If you want to contact David, you can contact him at Davaucher, and Scarlett at Scarlintheshire, which is SCARLINTHESHIRE. Hit us up on the contact form on www.therealtimeshow. And please check back in with us soon for more top quality watch content and interviews with the industry's finest. Until then, stay safe and keep on ticking.